You are very hopeful.
Yeah, I know. They
you
don't.
You are always like, you know what? We need that balance.
Oh my God!
Because here's the thing.
It shocked me when you said that. You said I'm really hopeful.
Because if it's a shutdown, they still get paid. Nothing changes for them. They have nothing.
Good evening. This is Dr. Curry.
This is Coby Owens.
Shané Darby.
And welcome to The Source. Before we get started today, we want to take just a moment to pray for the families of Twin B. Brown as well as Ted Blunt. Both of them were pioneers in our community, and we want to make sure we take time out to say to the families that we're praying for you during this time of transition, and we pray that God will continue to keep you all and bless you all. So we just wanted to open the show by saying those are words of comfort to those who have family members who have transitioned during this season. Again, both Ted Blunt and Twin B. Before we go to a commercial break, I do want to ask if y'all have anything y'all would like to share about either of the two.
Well, for me, I know I work closely with Twin B. Brown. I remember the first time I spoke to him, it was all muffled. The TV was loud in the background. He was like, "You want to come on a spiritual revival show?" And I'm like, "Oh, what is that? Like, who are you? How you get my number?" Like, right? So, but he definitely reached out. And he always said like he saw something in me and wanted to like work with me and to teach me about TV and media and to really get into that field. So he wanted me to be like his special assistant for the spiritual revival show. He always talked about like leaving his legacy and things like that. So me and him spent a lot of like one-on-one time. So I would go over to where he lives. It's Ingleside, right?
Yeah.
And sit down and have lunch with him and just talk. And I learned a lot about his life, who he was, a lot of the things that he believed in. So it's sad to see him go, but to live that long is a blessing. Like it's like
90 years.
90 years, like I'm sad, but I'm not real sad. Like, somebody like 23, like, oh, they have a life, but he had a life.
Yes.
He lived it, full life. And that is like beautiful to me.
Yes.
That he was able. A lot of people can't say they lived to that age.
But that was a mystery for a long time. But people were asking, how old is Twin? How old is Twin? And he never really revealed his age. But to live 90 years, that is super.
Yes, I said to live 90.
Yeah, that's super.
Fulfilled.
Yeah. and I like the fact that he often talking about let the positive outshine the negative. And one of the things you said when you met him and got a chance to talk with him and interact with him, he always saw something in you he wanted to continue. You are his legacy. I am his legacy. We are his legacy. And we are going to try to continue to live up the principles that he has certainly established.
Yeah, for me, I definitely want to talk about Ted Blunt for a second, the former council president. He was the first district councilman prior to becoming city council president. He even ran for lieutenant governor for a short while. But I just want to talk about this man changed the face of politics here in Delaware and Wilmington. He really engaged in creating the scholarship program that council members still use today with their discretionary funds that helped so many youth across the city of Wilmington. I was one of them that it helped, but also just his investment into community centers. I know I think he served on the board of Kingswood and one other community center in the city. But he really, when he was council president, he really made it a mission to make sure that there was additional funding. He was there when we first started the POW, working with Bunny Miller, helping them get the funds that they needed to get the POW up and running. It was in a community right around the corner from where he lived. And again, the Blunt family has just been so entrenched in Delaware politics for so long because of Ted and the work that he's done. He's been a mentor to so many. He's deeply going to be missed. His guidance is going to be missed for a lot of people, whether you agreed or disagreed on an issue. He was that sounding voice that you could go to and talk to about various issues.
Yeah. And he understood politics.
Yes.
I mean, he understood it to the T. And one of the things I often gave him credit for, I was not around during his tenure, but one of the things I gave him credit for based on what I had learned is that he knew how to handle council.
Yes.
It's like you didn't pull any fast ones. The mayor did not own him. It was really a good and strong president of city council. One of the things that he said to me several years ago, he said, Curry, just do your best to keep your influence, but don't get into these politics because it's not for you. And I took that little word of advice, and that's something I'm going to always live with, is that it's not for me. I will never make a good politician, but I would always make a good agitator. And that's literally what he was saying. You can agitate, but you don't want to get into the politics. So on behalf of The Source and those of us who sit with me here on this show, we want to say to the Blunt family, as well as to the Brown family, we are praying for you, and we thank God for the legacies of your loved one. We'll be right back.
Tune in at 8 a.m. every Sunday for our worship services. Join us at 9 a.m. on YouTube and Facebook Live by typing Zion Fair Baptist Church. We are Wilmington's most exciting church.
And we're back. Today, according to what has been reported, there have been no shootings in the city of Wilmington. On the street, we have not really heard of any shootings. So we're going to say hats off to the city of Wilmington with no shootings, but violence is still up in this city.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. So congratulations to the chief of police with helping us with the shooting piece, but let's continue to work towards the violence part. You know, I want to real quick in this little segment. We had snow last week, and we are projected to have some tomorrow. Well, when this show aired, it would have been a day later. How are y'all faring with the snow?
Well, I know it hasn't snowed in a while, so I don't like snow. So, you know, I'm a winter baby, and I do not like the winter. I don't like snow, but I like things to happen how it's supposed to happen.
Okay. Right?
So last year we didn't get snow, and I was concerned because y'all don't care about the environment, okay? And we need to care about our environment and global warming and stuff like that. So I'm glad the snow came, but snow doesn't really bother me much. Even as a single person, I don't have to touch snow. You know, I have nephews, I got a stepdad, I got uncles in a roster. So
well,
what am
I? That was very sexist. Since y'all like to call out everything.
I am good.
What about aunts? Don't you have aunts? Don't you have sisters? Don't you have daughters? Why do the men have to be the one to take care of the snow?
I'm good.
I don't think I'm getting no traction, so I'm
good. You're
not winning this battle. For me, I love the snow. I was born during a blizzard. I absolutely love like being out in the snow, driving in the snow, walking in the snow. It was good to see the kids actually be able to have enough snow to have a snowball fight.
Yeah.
Like kids were having a snowball fight. I haven't seen that in a long time, so it was good. Schools were closed as well too. That I didn't think was going to happen ever again with virtual learning and everything. Yeah. So it was good, but I do want to highlight one thing because the weather is so bad, and you know it's projected that we're going to get a few inches on Friday. At the time that we're recording this, we don't know how much we're actually getting, but there is a Code Purple in the city of Wilmington. Friendship House is opening up their doors at multiple locations in Wilmington, but also in Newark. So if you know anyone who is unhoused, the contact information, you could go to their Facebook page or you can call 302 652-8033. For the Wilmington, that's at Sam. Or if you need to get in contact somewhere else, they can direct you to the right place.
Good.
But call that number. It is a warming station, so there'll be food, there'll be hot chocolate, water, cots, beds for people to stay overnight so that they're not sleeping out on the street. Doors open around 6 o'clock. And go until about 6:30, 7 a.m. Into the next day.
Okay. Now, one of the things you said, we're in a cold blue, you said? Purple. Now, that's the city or the state?
So it's the organization calls it.
Okay.
The state also works with them.
Okay.
But it's whenever the wind chill gets under 20%. So it doesn't have to be snowing. It doesn't have to be raining.
Right.
It's just the wind chill is under 20%, or not 20%, 20 degrees.
Right.
But it gives an opportunity to make sure that we're not losing people on the streets because of the freezing weather.
Now, have you all considered some kind of legislation or something to help open up more? I think we talked about this on the show before about warming stations.
Talk about cooling stations.
Oh, cooling stations. Okay. Now we need to get So what is the city able to do anything to increase more than just this one place? Because one of the things I saw in Philadelphia that I kind of like is that they'll go and pick them up from the street, because a lot of times people can't, if it's on the other side of town, they can't get there. But the city of Philadelphia will pick people up and they will take them to the warming station.
So I will say, I spent the night at the shelter last Friday as an overnight volunteer. The Wilmington police and county police did bring multiple people to the shelter. They were out riding around, no charges or anything, just they offered that services. There were individuals who did stay the whole night. There were certain individuals who just wanted like food and to warm up for a little bit, but then decided to go back out. It's at their free will, no one's holding them to make them stay there. But again, it's an opportunity to warm up.
Good. Well, I think that's really good and important. I've been watching to see how things are faring out. So we haven't heard of any deaths that has occurred as a result of it being colder. But I agree with you. I want to see winter in the winter. And you said we don't care about the global warming. Yes, we do. Because at the end of the day, if it gets too mixed up, we're going to have a serious problem. I do want to also ask in this segment to you all, last week we talked a little bit about the mayor being hospitalized. There's rumors on the street that he had COVID and things of that nature. I don't know why it has to be like a top secret.
Yeah.
But is there any new information on the mayor?
So I asked, where's Waldo?
Where's who?
Waldo. Where's the mayor?
Okay.
Is he hospitalized or not hospitalized? What's going on? So I asked the question. I had no response via email, but I had text one of my staff members and a group chat with Trippy, and I'm like, yo, where's the mayor? According to the code, Trippy's supposed to be the mayor now. Because is he in? Is he out? Is he sick? What's going on? So their response to me basically was that he's home now. He has been released. I don't know the exact day, but it's been top secret that he's been in the hospital. They did not tell us. We actually found out by accident because someone else was visiting someone else at the hospital and end up seeing the mayor at the hospital.
Oh my gracious.
Right? And then that's when it starts spreading that he's there. So it was never reported to city council at all, not an email, not a text, nothing, a phone call to us that he was even hospitalized in the first place and that he was released.
That you could tell this city how you all just are very docile, but that would have been a real issue. In the country, we have the Secretary of Defense who did not share. Now, not everybody, but a great portion of Democrats and Republicans are calling for resignation because your life is an open book when you become a public servant. You don't get the liberty to just have a privacy. I'm sorry, you signed up to tell us the truth so we'll know what's going on. And for the power not to have been transferred to the appropriate channels also raises issues for me. Because as you shared in your email to whomever you wrote it to, if Trippy is supposed to be the person running the city during that time, it's supposed to happen.
Yep, it's supposed to happen. Once he's hospitalized, and it's going to be a long, extended time, but then it's subjective. Because now I can decide what's long, what's not long, what constitutes that, right? So then they could argue, because it's subjective, that, oh, no, it didn't fit that. But no, you was in the hospital for more than a day or two. He was there for like
anything
he was
pop
there
up.
for a few weeks.
Yeah, well, that's what we're hearing on the street. We don't have the details.
Well, I don't have the details.
So for those of you who are watching or you're trying to find a way of getting some litigation, we're saying what we heard on the street, but we wouldn't be saying it this way if people were transparent. Okay, and I want to make that clear. If people were transparent and share truth with the public, we would not have to worry about what's on the street. What we could be able to do is refer to the truth. So I'll say that. The last thing I want to talk about in my little segment that we have today is the race in the city. I just need to know. I know Velda Potter announced she's running. I know you announced that you're running. Who else has announced? Nobody? So nobody else is running as of right now?
As of right now.
What is the wait? Now I need both of y'all, because y'all know about this politics stuff. I mean, why do I can understand hurry up and getting it done at the end of December so you can get some donations, get two times the donations, I guess. But why, what is the wait now?
Most people didn't want to have to follow end of the year report and then have to do fundraising
it's
at
a
the
new
end
year.
of the year. With a new year, you'll probably start seeing people announce once it gets warmer. Yeah.
Really?
They don't want to knock on doors or be outside right now. It's cold. It's harder to get people out.
I announce and
to
I'm not knocking on doors in the winter. I'm telling y'all that now. I do phone calls, I text, I post on social media, but I'm not going outside.
A lot of people don't like going outside. So they'll wait until it gets a little warmer to start announcing.
Do y'all have any people that y'all think might be running? I don't want to put nobody in you all know what to say, what not to say. So, I mean, is there any anticipation of people that may be running for any of the city positions?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's going to be a lot of the district seats are going to be challenged.
Oh, you think so?
I think we're probably going to either have a big field for at-large as well, too.
Okay.
There's a lot of people who are fired up. There's people who are fired up over what happened with residency and how their representative, their council person, reacted to that, right? By some of them not showing up to the vote, some of them making, jabs at the public and then going not voting, right? And making jabs at people from their own district who came and spoke out. So there's going to be a lot of primaries happening this cycle.
Do you think that were there people who did not vote on that? I know there are people who said yay, and there are people who said nay.
There's people who said yes, no, and not voting.
Present is basically you didn't vote.
Do y'all know how many people said present?
Then Councilmember Brigida Fields, she said present.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Fields.
Everybody, I think she was the only present. Everybody else is no or yes.
James Spadola was no. Fields was present. Field was present.
And
Mills was no. Everyone else was yes, except for Cabrera, who didn't show.
Oh yeah, because she was in Atlanta.
Okay, so she couldn't vote. You can't vote when you're not there.
She just.
Other people were also in Atlanta at a conference, but they still did, their job and show up.
What I'm trying to do is what you're doing. You're answering my question, okay? You cut right through the chase. So she had an opportunity, to say yes, no, or present, but she chose.
And you had two other council people, Councilwoman Oliver and Councilwoman Harley, who were also scheduled to be at that conference as well too, but waited until after the council meeting to leave.
Because they wanted to be present for the community. So those two did do that.
Okay, very good, very good. It's important to us that we share with you as much information as possible so that when you're making your decision on who you're going to vote for, that you are really making a decision based on truth. We have to stop allowing our public servants to get away with doing whatever they want to do, cutting deals behind the scene. And when they cut their deals, they don't want the public to know because they think that you're not interested. We are interested. You got to get fired up. You got to vote people in who have your best interest at heart. So I'm going to leave it there and say, look, it is what it is, but we're going to continue. As this race goes closer, we're going to continue to scrutinize those who are currently in office, as well as those who are interested in running. That's all we have for this segment, so we'll be right back.
New guests, new conversations, new stories, every Sunday at 11 a.m. Grab your cup of coffee and tune in with Dr. Curry for weekly episodes of Coffee with Curry.
Join us at 9 a.m. on YouTube every Sunday by typing E-Zion Fair Baptist Church.
Oh my God, help me today. Which means every storm is a school. Every trial is a teacher. Every experience is an education. And every difficulty is development.
We are Wilmington's most exciting church.
And we're back. Well, Shané, what's going on with Shané's Scoop today?
Yeah, so I know one big topic right now are these dams. And if I haven't learned nothing else over the last 2-3 weeks, I learned more about dams, the different types of dams, when dams were installed, why dams were needed. Like, I learned so much history behind dams. But there has been a resolution.
Let me just say, it's funny when you said you learned so much about dams and stuff. I didn't even cut you off,
right.
But I thought about the old joke. You just learned so much damn stuff.
Right.
But then I'm passing it, not cuss. I'm just going off when she kept saying it. I just said that joke came in my head. I'm so sorry, man.
I know, okay. But yeah, so I have learned so much about them, but I know that I've been listening to different partners, constituents, doing the research. I know that they have a dam that is over in the Brandywine Park area, Tower Hill. Yeah. There's some condos, I think, that are around there. I've probably seen the condos, but I can't imagine. I need to ride by. But they said there's condos there, there's houses, it's off this, it's really a creek. And it was actually named a creek by accident. Because when the Europeans came here, they didn't realize how big it was actually a river. They didn't realize how big it is. So they call it's really on the map, it's called Brandywine Creek, but in reality it's a river. Okay. Right? So the Brandywine River, it flows. So there's dams that were installed during the colonial period for the Industrial Revolution, for power, mills, gunpowder, all these things that were happening during colonial times. And now the dams are pointless. Okay. Right? We don't power ourselves with dams anymore. We're in 2023. Right? And what also happened though with the installation of dams is that it destroyed the ecosystem that was there. So there's these fish called shad. So they have a shad fest every year. Wow, you really got educated. Yes, I did. Yeah, I was like, this is it. This is like really like I like history. This is like kind of like my thing. So the shad fish had to change their migration because they couldn't go down the Brandywine Creek, Brandywine River anymore. So it destroyed the environment. But also for me, what was even worse is that it destroyed the livelihood of the Native American people that lived there. Oh. So for me, get rid of them dams. You feel me? Okay. Like it's a sign of, for me, like a tool of white supremacy and European logic of stolen land and then being able to take control and power and oppress people. You take their food away, you take their source away. And that was like water is really big to like native communities. Absolutely. Like water, that's where their food is, that's where they live by, and they cut that off from them. So get rid of them dams. The only people coming out in opposition of it are people who live by the river because they want to see a beautiful waterfall come down their dam. Wow. They like to look outside their balcony and see it, right? There's no real opposition, or I have not heard one real reason for me to be like, yo, keep the dams in. And
is this a city decision?
It's a city decision because it's part owned by the city and part owned by DuPont. Yeah, they've got a DuPont. I have to think. Yeah, by the DuPonts. So they're part owned, but the city wants to remove it the Brandywine River Trust Fund, they want to remove it so that it allows for the environment to be restored. So it's like restoring the Brandywine back to the original. And what kills me is they come out talking about the history. Oh, it's so historic, these dams. Them dams been there for 100 years. Prior to that, the Native Americans who lived here had a Brandywine River that flowed for thousands of years. So we're comparing thousands of years history to y'all little bit of history that y'all have that's actually very dehumanizing. right, that was about oppression and destruction of people, I can care less about y'all history. I'm just being honest. Like, I'm being so frank, and I can care less. Get rid of all the dams, okay? That's how I feel about it. So, but that's a conversation being had right now. I know that by the time this airs, there would be a vote to remove the dams or not, because it's a city council. We have to give them the okay to remove it, but we're going to have oppositions from people who live on that area, and these are people who live in high-end apartments, mostly Caucasian, who are finally coming out to speak up about something. And then one thing,
So the mob or
not the mob. They can't be a mob.
Okay, why?
They can't be the mob.
Okay.
They're not black and brown.
I'm not trying to get your blood pressure up again.
Okay, they're not the mob. Okay, and the crazy part is, one of the guys who's a part of the Brandywine River Trust Fund tried to go speak to them, and they were very rude to him and did not want him to be a part of the meeting. But then they talk about us. You feel me? They do this, like, if you want to compare and contrast, sometimes their meetings are worse, or they're even more rude and ignorant. Right? So those things are just like not fair comparisons. But for me, the one issue that I do have with this, though, I have not, like, I'm a research person, show me the data. I've been asking for, because they keep trying to throw in Northeast. So, we had the Northeast flooding, right? So dams do reduce flooding, like overall.
Right.
But there's no direct, I have not found any research to a direct correlation to that specific dam all the way over in Tower Hill area to have an impact on Northeast. Right? There has been no research or data to show that there's a direct correlation.
So are they saying if y'all remove it, it's going to make it worse over there?
Yeah. So what in my head, right? This is what they're trying to do. I think it's poor taste to try to use the suffering of predominantly low-income Black community to try to move your agenda forward. Right. Now, if your agenda is let's save the fish, I'm cool with that. Like I'm cool with the environment, saving the environment and doing stuff like that. But to make that direct correlation with no true research or data or information to back that up, I think that is distasteful. So that is one part of the argument I do not agree with. And I also do agree with the people who did come out that there was no community engagement, right? They're saying that there wasn't any, or there could have been better community engagement. I'm always for, even if I don't agree with community participation, community engagement, those things I do agree with. But for me, I think it's just poor taste to try to use that as the foretelling story or purpose for why you're doing this. Gotcha. Like, I don't like that when there hasn't been direct research. There's no research.
With this dam and it being obsolete pretty much, there are people who are saying that the removal of this dam would actually reduce flooding in the area. When you talked about that flooding, that was the September 2021 flooding, Ida, when Ida hit, right? I was actually over in the Brandywine area during the flooding and took a video of a dumpster coming down, hitting the big swinging bridge a little further down.
Yeah, they gotta repair that.
Yeah, that still has to be repaired, which they haven't done it. So it's been 3 years. But again, this city don't care about parks, this administration. But the issue is that area flooded over 4 feet, over the 4 feet from the previous record, right? 21 feet of water in flooding, which led to the historic flooding over Northeast, over by the Brandywine Zoo. All that area flooded out, right? So we know because of climate change, we're not going to be able to stop climate change here in Wilmington. We're not going to stop, but America's putting out this huge carbon footprint, but we can start reducing the impacts on usually the ones who have the least amount of input into it. We can start helping them out a little bit. And this is a environmental justice piece of legislation. I know it's a public works piece of legislation, but it's also environmental justice, right? It's time to create or use this to have better water quality. Like Shané said, bring back the American shad, bring back their migration flow through the area as well too. It's going to create more recreational opportunities for the city. You're going to see a whole different pattern of water come in. And it's going to be a benefit to the city of Wilmington.
And the Europeans need to amend for their wrongs. Y'all over there, y'all cut off and destroy the Native American community. That upsets me because that, like, I feel so connected to all of it, even though I know I wasn't there, but I feel so connected to all of it because it has impacts to how we live today and who we are. We're on occupied land. We stole land from people, and it's complicated because we're all here now, but it's very complicated, but we're on stolen land. And those people today have so many disparities, so many issues because of what European people did to them. Take them dams out. I don't care. It's like removing statues.
like that
Remove
word,
all of the statues. Take all the dams out.
Now, how do you think it's going to go with city council?
I
What is your
don't know.
projection?
They're really quiet, and they really didn't give us a chance to speak at the committee meeting last night. And I hung up after they didn't give us a chance to speak.
Maybe the question I would ask is, what section of the city were the people most vocal? District 1, 2, 3, 4,
The 8th district. It was the 8th district, and they live and they get the seat. So they want to preserve this historical, beautiful, scenic, sentimental view.
Now, the 8th district is the mayor's district, am I correct?
Yeah, the mayor district.
So that means the mayor and all of his people will be voting to probably preserve
Well,
it.
the city of Wilmington is a supporter of removing the dam. So
Oh, the administration is?
yeah, they're in
But he
support of
ain't ready,
removing
okay.
the dams.
Okay.
He listen. He trying to. There's another project in the 8th district, Gibraltar, right? He don't care. He developing everywhere, and he don't care about community participation, community involvement. He don't care. He want to develop. He want it done. He gonna do it. He don't care. That man don't care.
Is it because he got money?
He got money, he got power, he has all of those things, and then, white men are arrogant, in my opinion, most of them.
Gee. Oh, wow.
So he just got the audacity.
Okay, audacity, wow.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Fake confidence.
So that's your damn discussion.
Yes.
And so I was just trying to get a projection of what you think is going to happen. We're going to bring it back next week to see how.
Yeah, we're going to see how it went. And then also it's going to be the vote of no confidence. That's going to happen for Mayor Mike Przicki in regards to the mob rule for the community. So that we'll see what happens after tonight. And by the time this airs, we should know what happened with that vote. I do not think that vote is going to, I never expected it to, but I'm not going to have 7 yeses.
You don't think so?
No, not at all, because I reached out to all my council people. Either they didn't answer me, some said they had no questions or concerns, and one person was just like, well, I think what Trippy responded in his press statement was enough. And I said, but we never gave the community an opportunity to respond. And then crickets. So I think that even the people who voted yes in support of residency are not going to agree with my vote of no confidence in the Mayor Mike Przicki for calling the community mob rule.
Okay, we're going to see, but we're going to definitely put up. So as soon as you get that who did what, we need to have it for next week's show where we can show who did vote for it and who did not. Because I think that what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and sometimes the language that people use to describe people is just inappropriate, and it needs to be handled appropriately. And I think that your vote, your resolution was handled inappropriately. I'm sure the city council president can share his position, but it allows other people to hide, and that's not good.
Yeah,
I think the city, the constituents needs to see that yes, she has my back, he has my back. Yes, they are voicing what I have to say. So just to have the city council president come out, all I said was a letter signed by was that letter signed by all of the council?
No, we all did not sign that. I didn't even know the statement was coming. It was his own thing that he did.
Very good. Okay, very good. What else you have for us today?
Yeah, so the last thing is that the budget time is coming. So city council, we do review the budget. It's one of our major jobs. One of our primary jobs is to look at our budget each year. So we're entering into that season. So we're having a whole bunch of meetings, and all the council people get to throw out their ideas. I want this, I want that. And then we all kind of do like our internal vote to like what our top priorities are going to be. So sometimes you don't hear that conversation, so that you don't hear like behind the scenes people are trying to advocate for something, but when you don't have a majority city council who supports it, then that doesn't push forward. So I can ask for money for North Market Street, but if it's only 3 of us who say yes and the rest of them said no, it's nothing I could do about getting money for North Market Street in the budget, because it's all about numbers, right? So I think it's important that the community is engaged in the process. Another big thing is the EMS. We talked about that last week. That's going to be a big hit to the budget, and also try to integrate that into our fire department. Now the EMS services, after St. Francis is going to do a year contract to hold us over until we can figure out how to integrate it into our fire department. So that's going to be a major hit onto our fire department right now. So those are just conversations to come up, and as the budget and more things transpire and we come up with like our priority list for city council, then I think it's important, and I'll keep everyone updated on what's happening and how you can get involved and to come to the budget hearing meetings. And city council members don't like when community members come out because they want the meeting to be 30 minutes so they can go home. Nah, come out, make comments, engage, make them sit there.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah, and one of the things I want to give you a compliment is that you do get passionate about the issues that you believe in. And I think all too often we have people who don't. They're just there, but you really take it to heart. That's why when you get discouraged sometimes because of you finding fake, phony things happening around you, I try to encourage you to stay resolute, because I think the community needs your voice and we need more.
So let me ask you this: with this upcoming budget season, are we going to go back to our regular budgetary to 2023 operating budget? Because in 2024, right, because parking tickets were changing from $40 to $25, and they view fines and fees as a source of revenue for the city of Wilmington, they increased a bunch of other fees the city have to offset that, right? But now, since they really didn't change parking tickets at all, especially not how they said they were going to change them, just to 25, now it became, oh, well, if you pay in 14 days, then it'll be a lower amount, which is what, 35, I think? So you only get $5 off if you pay 14 days in advance.
That's 25.
Or those fees, did they go to 25?
I think it is 25.
Okay, 25, you get $15 off. Let me ask you this. The rest of the fees, because one thing did change in there that I think was bad, was really bad, but I guess beneficial for the donors of certain council people and the mayor. Will those fines go back to how they were prior to the change, since the parking tickets didn't change?
Nah, bro, they're gonna stay the same.
They're gonna stay the change. And the reason why I brought that up is because there's a new, 290 unit building coming to downtown. They took a parking lot away.
Been there since I was a baby.
Which
we don't have enough parking.
Which parking?
Off of Orange Street. What's that, 7th?
Right, 7th and Orange, yeah.
We don't have enough parking in the city, so they took away one of the biggest parking lots and are making this huge unit. But when the parking ticket debate came up and they changed these fines and fees, one thing they put in there is they put a cap for how many units you have to pay once it hits 100. And it's mind-blowing to me that we really don't have too many buildings in the city of Wilmington that has more than 100 units. We have a bunch of LLCs that have a parent company called BBG, right? that has 90 units, 82 units. But now, soon as this changes and it's a cap, so regular Coby, if I wanted to build something that was 20 units, I'm paying almost the same amount. But now they can build the 295, and on 195 of them, they're not paying anything on. Yeah. And they're probably getting a tax abatement on it. And they're getting a rebate from the Downtown Development District as well, too, 20% back on whatever they put into it. So, as we go through this budget season, and as the finance chair and the mayor's chief of staff sit there and say, oh, we can't do this, we can't create this new thing, we don't have any more money. I hope someone brings those points up.
Well, they bring them up, but it's going to fall on deaf ears, as it has been in the past.
Well, I hope with all these additional fines and fees that they added on, that they increased because of the parking tickets, and now that they didn't change the parking tickets with that extra revenue, that'd be able to help start funding reparations here in the city of Wilmington. Because I know this city council is going to pass our recommendations, and this mayor is going to completely embrace them and get them done very quick.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. What did you say about me yesterday? You said you were so optimistic.
Y'all are like.
Not y'all. No, he's just being
y'all
facetious.
Y'all are the great host.
He's being facetious right now. But I will say this: that the policies and the push is so Republican that is unfair, unbelievable.
He is a Republican.
I'm trying to be calm.
Oh my gosh.
But you watch what is being pushed.
Not the Democrats.
It is not a Democratic agenda. It is strictly a Republican. The rich get richer. We'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Eugene Young. I'm incredibly thankful to be here. I am a candidate for U.S. Congress, and I believe when it comes to Congress, it comes to service. One of my favorite lines about service is you can't lead without loving, you can't save without service. So what's the depth of your love, and what's the quality of your service? So this aspect of love and service is what brings me here before you today, and wanting to take that and extend that into Congress as we move forward. I look at my last 20 years of serving the community, and I look forward to having another 20 and being able to find more ways to even better serve the community, which has given me so much. So please feel free to join us at eugeneyoung.com. That's EUGENEYOUNG.com. That's eugeneyoung.com. If you're interested in volunteering or donating, it could be $5 a month, it could be $100 a month, it could just be a standard donation of $10. We appreciate it all. Thank you so very much, and wishing you a wonderful, beautiful day.
And we're back. Well, Coby, what's going on with Coby's Corner?
Yeah, first I want to talk about two bills that I talked about previously. These last two shows have been voted out of committee and will be going to the agenda very soon. First one is HB 263, an education bill that bans schools, education agencies and charter schools from prohibiting students from participating in school-sponsored extracurricular activities because they have outstanding debt for unpaid school meals. This is huge. What happened last year and prior years, we had kids who were in the Smyrna School District who couldn't go to homecoming. We had kids who weren't able to walk at graduation because they had outstanding school lunch debt. There's only 3 school districts in the state of Delaware, Capital, Colonial, and Christina, that completely pay for school meals. Everyone else has some type of practice put in place to hold kids accountable. It's considered lunch shaming. It's an anti-poverty bill. So we're looking to make sure that you're not being punished for being low income or not having money.
Even if you live in the affluent neighborhoods, because you got Section 8.
It shouldn't matter. You're not working as a student, right? Yeah. That is not your fault. If your parents, parents who forget to just refill their lunch accounts. But a lot of the kids who got affected are kids, parents who could not afford it. Correct.
Just that simple. I mean,
correct.
I detest the people who say, well, they supposed to pay their bills if you can't afford. And then we got this big push about feeding everybody. Everybody eat. And this is how does the state allow this to happen?
Well, everyone still gets to eat. They just don't. It's the financial part of it. But some school districts, if you owe more than $25, you can't be a part of student government. You can't do any sports. You can't go to prom. You can't go to homecoming. These are once in a lifetime opportunities, right? Yes, exactly what you said. The next piece of legislation it prohibits family court from imposing a sentence of incarceration or ordering the suspension of a driver license for failure to pay court-ordered child support unless it finds that the failure is willful and not due to the inability of someone to pay child support. There has been multiple incidents, especially recently, where people have gone through divorces or splits. Someone files for child support, and when they file for that, they make it retroactive. So they go back to when they first split, not when the divorce was actually settled. So you could get 2 years, right? So say you have to pay $1,000 a month, right? It goes back those 2 years from when you split to when the divorce was final, and going forward, you start with a $24,000 bill, right? At I believe right now, the way it's set, if it's anything over $3,600, they can put you in jail, or they can suspend your license. The bill was debated. It passed out of committee. There is going to be an amendment just clarifying around the definition of willful. I think the intent is there, right? And judges have settled law that they've used, case law that they used to determine willfulness in the past. But this amendment will clarify that wording a little bit more, so there's no real gray area.
So if my wife makes more money than we divorce, does that mean I have to now still give up my little bit of money?
So it depends who is the primary parent.
How do you determine who's the primary parent? Whoever gets the children.
Yeah, whoever gets the children.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
So again, like I was raised by my mother, right? So my father had to pay child support. So that's how that would work. If I was raised with my dad, my mother would have probably had to pay child support.
Yeah.
And you see it go both ways. It's about even right now in the state when there are situations like that, even though more women raise their children.
Yeah, and last week when we were talking, and I said that we need to get a bill for those individuals who have messed up. Because in our community, we have a lot of people who are not married, but they have children by people. And the fathers did not pay, and the mothers had to go on welfare and things of that nature. But once the father decides that he's going to get his life together, then all of that back child support comes and hit that person too. I know you'd say, well, that's something you got to think about. I have an issue with that because I see too many people who are looking for a second chance, who did mess up, who acknowledge the facts.
I think it depends on circumstances.
Right,
for me.
and that's because everything is different.
Yeah.
Everything is different. Some people willfully neglect it.
And currently, more needs to be reformed around this system.
Yeah.
The state operates off that you can live per month, right? They're saying that what you need to live is $1,600, right? So if you're not the primary parent, they're saying you only need $1,600. I'm sorry, but like a 1-bedroom apartment here in the city of Wilmington on average is $1,300.
Yeah.
For one person, you're spending anywhere from about $180 to $250 per month in groceries alone. That's not
no, there's more than that, bro.
I'm on the low end of things, right?
Oh.
This is if you're being very spurred.
And it depends on how old the child is too.
Well, no, this is just for the single parent by themselves.
By themselves. Okay.
If you got kids, it's a lot higher.
Oh, okay.
Then you have to include utilities, gas for your car if you do have a car, getting back and forth to work. So you're spending way more than that $1,600.
I understand.
But your child support may be set at only allowing you $1,600 take home for yourself. Which we've seen as well too, because there are people in this state who do not make enough money.
And what if I decided to get married and now I married somebody else? That means I still can have $1,600?
No, it gets a little different when you get.
That's all I want to do. I don't want to get into the details. I just want to make sure that there's ways of.
I think it's complicated.
It's very complicated.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's complicated.
And there has been reforms in other states to make it less complicated. But, Delaware is first to be last.
Yeah, well, okay. And
first to be last.
And last to be first. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Next, I want to talk about an upcoming event on Monday, tomorrow, January 22nd. There will be a community town hall about reparations. We'll go over the outline of research that we have currently. But we really, truly want to hear from the community, from their inputs. All our meetings have been open to the public. We have had good traction. I think altogether we maybe have about 100 people come in throughout the different events or different meetings, but we want to hear from more people, right? We want to hear from every corner of the city of Wilmington. We've been putting up flyers all over the place, sharing it out on social media. So we'll put the graphic up here if you are available. There is a Zoom link. You just go to the city's website and click the city event or Wilmington City Council events. Click the agenda for the 22nd. And the Zoom link information will be in that as well too. If you can't make it in person, it will be in council chambers and it starts at 6 p.m.
And you'll be able to continue to rewatch it and watch it because they're going to play it just like they continuously play city council meetings now.
So that will be the only one you'll be able to rewatch. The rest of them, from my understanding, aren't going to be put up. The other recordings.
Yeah, no, this one.
Yeah.
This one like going forward. Yeah, because that was a headache.
And you said the city council is going to be doing that too now?
Well, city council does that. You can rewatch city council stuff on WITN.
Okay.
But previously, before task force, were not recorded in chambers and recorded by WITN.
Understood.
So now it is.
Thank the Lord.
After a lot of headaches.
Yeah, I know.
Unfortunately, we will only be having one other meeting after this, and that's to vote on the final draft. That's how council extended its time period, so that we could just get the final draft done. They don't want us meeting anymore.
Yeah, y'all done at this point. Y'all recommendations. Let's see.
Next, I want to talk about a two-time Delaware State Officer of the Year who works for the Delaware Division of Alcohol and Tobacco Enforcement has been charged for trading illegal cartons of cigarettes for drugs and money.
Wow. Yeah,
Look at that.
I saw that.
Look at that. Wow, corruption in the police department for the guy who's supposed to do the tobacco enforcement is the one illegally selling the tobacco.
Now, for the person who's watching, is this the state, the county, or the city?
It's state. It's the Delaware division.
Okay.
He's 33 years old. He faces 5 felony counts and 1 misdemeanor. It was a joint investigation between the state police and his own agency, the Division of Alcohol and Tobacco Enforcement.
Who did he take off? because white privilege is there. I mean, who did he take off that caused the state and his own people? See, he must have went too far. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Going too much.
He was hired in 2016, and in just a short amount of time, he became 2-time state officer of the year with many other awards and stuff like that. But the one thing I want to bring up is the fact that he is not fired. He is not in jail because we have something called pod pack. The
white
they
privilege
just
works.
changed. It's not even white privilege. This is called police protection. They had Leoboard, but instead of actually changing what's in Leoboard, they just changed the name of Leoboard to pod pack. So instead of him being fired and arrested for being a illegal smuggler here in the state of Delaware, he's been suspended. He's been suspended.
Oh, wow.
He's been suspended.
With benefits.
And still collecting his benefits, still collecting his pay. But if it was me, you, we would be locked up in jail.
Yeah. I don't know if she'd be locked up.
I'm not going to be locked up.
in
My mom
jail.
going to give me a good lawyer, okay?
Even with a good lawyer, you still sitting there until you pay bail.
That's
They taking you out in
my
handcuffs.
mom paying my bill.
The police are probably calling the media if they locking you up.
Yeah.
But yet they want to try to cover this up.
I'm going to come out like Tupac.
They would.
Oh, Jesus.
Go ahead, lock me up.
They want to cover this up. And it's interesting that I'm now talking about Pop Pack because y'all know how passionate I am about policing reform. But it's funny that James McCall, again, another case, he illegally and falsely changed the barrel of his gun after he shot an unarmed black man named Yaheem Harris in the back, then lied about what actually happened in that situation. He is now trying to use Pop Pack, right, to say, hey, I'm supposed to have extra protections. I'm not supposed, I can lie. That is what he is arguing in court right now. And you know what? He'll probably get something towards his direction because this state has yet to do anything about actually handling the misconduct in this state. And then you have people who are in power, right, who go to government agencies who may not always agree with them on the issue of police brutality and say, hey, they're advocates, so we're going to listen to them instead of listening to the families of impacted victims, people who've lost loved ones. People who have been
could do something about this, and now he about to try to run for mayor of the city of Wilmington.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's going to be interesting to
All
me.
right.
Well, he's protected by people in the General Assembly as well, too, from having to do anything.
Oh. So we talk about the governor, we talk about General Assembly. Okay, I'm paying attention. I'm
We'll
like
see
you
what
all.
happens.
I'm trying to figure it all out because it's going to all unfold at the appropriate time.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But this is what we're dealing with right now. But I want to finish on.
Wait. Before you go past that, we really have to stay on this because with this new title
Yes.
of police reform, I want to see how it affects this. That's going to be interesting. And then we're going to go back to using the old language of Leopold. Because at the end of the day, it is still that.
But I do want to finish on a happy note.
Okay.
Right? So Delaware is joining 53 other states, territories, and tribes in participating in the launch of the Summer Electric Benefit Transfer Program for Children. So families will be receiving an extra $120 per eligible child at the beginning of summer to help supplement with the cost of groceries over the 3-month period. Because, when they home all summer,
Are you eligible for
they
that?
start eating more.
I gotta figure that out.
Check into it. All right.
It's subject to change year to year based on and account for inflation, which I think is huge. But there's around 80,000 Delaware children who qualify for the summer EBT program here in Delaware this upcoming summer of 2024.
So how does a person find out whether or not is it automatically going to them? How is that working?
So you would reach out to the Division of Social Services to figure out your eligibility. I think currently, if you receive like SNAP, TANF, or Medicaid, you'll get it automatically.
Okay.
But there are some additional people who will qualify who don't receive that stuff currently right now, but they'll be able to receive it for that 3 months.
Yeah, that's what I have to figure out. Because after COVID, I started working again.
Oh, okay.
But during COVID, I was taking all the benefits.
Okay. And
give me all the food stamps, okay? And I'm mad I don't qualify.
And it's interesting because when I was being raised, there was no way you could not tell a person was on welfare because they had color. They had color food stamps. Mm-hmm. Now they got the card to look like a regular credit card. Nobody even know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Definitely. And the preloaded card will start seeing the benefits at the end of May.
Okay.
So I just wanted to highlight that program. Again, other states have joined in. I'm glad to see Delaware to join in as well too. That's through the USDA, which handles a lot of our.
Can they bring back the stimulus checks?
No.
How about that?
No, they're trying to get rid of Biden and all of that.
They need to give me a check every month.
Well, the checks every month was both for the stimulus, but also the child tax credit,
credit was cool.
Being debated right now. The Republicans thought it was a horrible idea because how dare you give money monthly to everyday American, but yet we can give tax breaks monthly, daily to big corporations like Apple, like Tesla, who don't have to pay anything because they bring all these guns.
Tesla.
Listen, Tesla, Elon Musk.
Having an extra check of that money every month in my household was a game changer.
I believe it.
Okay?
I believe it.
That was a game changer. It's not like it was, I would have got that money during taxes. It was just that they gave 6 months up front.
But see, that's the best part, right? The best part is making it monthly because it actually helps with the day-to-day.
Yeah.
When you have that lump sum at the end, that's a
I'm
big shopping. Exactly, big shopping. That's just how people operate, especially minorities, right? Where the dollar does not stay in our pockets very long. So that month to month, it was better. Now, I will say Delaware does not have a state child tax credit. It's something that we've been in talks about recently, these last 2 months, about creating one and joining 14 other states. 11 of them are fully refundable. 3 of them are not, but those 3 are Oklahoma, Idaho, and I think it's like Utah, something like that. They're all out west, all Republican states. The rest of them are refundable to a certain level. Some of them offset whatever the difference of the federal child tax credit may be, or they created their own completely to work outside of that. So again, we have a lot of work to do here in Delaware, but the federal government, I talk about it all the time, they're extremely dysfunctional right now. We can do something here on a state level, but it has to start with holding your elected officials accountable.
Absolutely. We get ready
that's all I got.
Yeah, we're going to end our show today in a second, but I just want to see how y'all doing with this Dancing with the Stars.
So I know we did a photo shoot. So the photo shoot is complete. They were nice. So I can't wait to see
Did you wear your beautiful purple?
No, I didn't wear purple. So me and the Kappa, we wore black. You know, that was our color. So
who's gonna be the prettiest? You or he?
Probably he's a Kappa.
Oh, okay.
You know, he said he's gonna look good.
Okay, trust me, he will.
So that's really I'm looking forward to it. So I know they changed the venue and the date. So we'll be at the Waterfalls on the 29th.
29th.
Yeah, the 29th at 6 p.m.
I'm hoping we can get some footage of that. I think that would be nice.
Why don't you just come?
I am going to come, but I want to try to get some footage so they can see too, because I think that's going to be interesting. Did you try to tell them how to do some steps? Because you know they're on 12.
Well, we're waiting to, you know. So long as we win, I feel like we're gonna win. Well, I heard of some of the people in there.
Well, you were in it.
Oh yeah, I'm in it.
Yeah, so I was like, where's the comp?
Oh really?
Where's the competition?
All right.
You know, I need real competition.
Okay. Well, we're going to see. We're going to see. I do want to end our show today on something I want to share with you. Many of you are watching. You're saying he doesn't have his glasses on today. And trust me, I don't. Because I wanted to share this message with you all. I was diagnosed with, they thought that I had sugar diabetes, sugar diabetes, what do you call it?
Type 2
diabetes. Because during about a year and a half ago, I was eating a whole lot of sweets and doing the crazy stuff. And while I was doing it, I started losing my vision and I started feeling crazy. I went to the doctor and the doctor said, yes, your sugar is just too high. It's off the map. Surprised you did not have a stroke. Well, he told me some things I needed to do and I did it. I lost some of the weight. I made sure I changed my eating habits, but I still enjoy things in moderation. I don't even need glasses anymore. My vision has come back to where it needed to be. My levels are good. My heart is strong. It's important to all of you who are watching us, especially our seniors, that you take care of yourself. Now, once I turned 50, I learned that I am not indispensable because I'd never been to a hospital. I'd never been sick, still haven't. But it was that one scare that really got me concerned where I thought I was going to lose my vision. Please take care of yourself. Please talk to your doctor, check on yourself, and follow their instructions. Well, that's all I have for you all today. This is Dr. Curry.
This is Coby Owens.
Shané Darby.
See ya.
Take care, y'all.
Talk to you soon.